All right, we're back in action, and it's game number 2 in this best of 3. Thanks for tuning in so far today, guys. Of course, it's Rifkin coming at you with the assistance here of LOTV. And, you know, what I think you would prefer to introduce this guy first. In the bottom right. Just because of his color alone.
The beautiful yellow bee color we have in the bottom right corner of Terraform. It is going to be the victor of game 1, Beastyqt.
And his opponent in the top left. It's the Red Zerg from Acer. It's Bly. And pro tip to anyone who wants to get on Beasty's good side, never pronounce the Q and the T as individual letters. It's definitely supposed to be cutie as in cutie pie.
Cutie pie.
Actually, he used to give me so much crap for that because I would always just capitalize the Q and the T. It just looked grammatically correct for some reason, even though there's no such thing as grammar when it comes to people's names.
True.
You got people like Desert too, capitalizing at the middle of their name with the R. You're like, bro, why are you doing this? It's so difficult.
It's very Warcraft 3-esque.
Hell, I take that a step further back. I'd say like Brood War, where you've got like names like XXX, SSJ, 7 Vegeta, shit like that. Like, ugh, it was the worst.
Oh yeah. That's so Brood War. I remember.
You remember, there would always be those names, right? There's always those guys. And they were always playing custom games with you in tower defenses. Yeah.
Hell yeah, they were my best friends.
Whoops, never mind. So I forgot we had to take TV in here also casting.
What? That is funny.
Our good German friends, they're German brothers from other mothers, how you want to say that. Anyways, so for this time around, Terraform's a map that goes pretty, I'd say, well. This is not a map where I think fourths are too hard to take. We've been seeing Terran players actually reach out to this middle base more as like thirds rather than expanding completely vertically. But for Bly's sake, you know, last game, some jokes in chat were thrown down. His biggest mistake was trying to take more than 2 bases. That might be what his thoughts are in this game. It could be a quick one, it could be a long one. We'll see what he decides to say for us.
Yep, he is getting his second gas now. Also, the factory is almost near completion. He's got 4 Marines here to defend against these Zerglings. And also a key note about this Overlord is he can actually pick it off if he puts 1 Marine on the high ground at the 3rd and leave some Marines in his own natural. That Overlord is not safe until above that dome. Bly, just to let you know.
No, I think a lot of people know this, but they're just like, look, it's worth the information, it's worth the risk of losing it. It's worth noting too.
Definitely Beastyqt does look to push out super early with some timing. Bly does want to actually be informed of this.
Yeah, especially seeing Hellions or something like a lot of Reapers coming out of the map. But something that I totally forgot to go over that's worth mentioning, because it is a recent balance update that a lot of you guys may not be keeping up on. We didn't see any Liberators that last game, and for a really good reason. Liberators no longer automatically come with the air to ground. You have to actually upgrade out the starport through the tech lab, which is kind of annoying for Terran players who just want to go jump straight to that reactor. So it kind of makes sense. Now, Beasty might do it this game because he's going for the Banshee and the investment, and he's going to have that tech lab on it. But Liberators are still fantastic units. They just no longer are rushable like the way you could before.
Yeah, and once again, I actually do like Beastyqt's choice in unit production against Bly's Roach play. Like, Banshees actually deal a great deal of damage to Roaches, and because Roaches don't attack air, and even the Ravager shots can't really defend against the speed of the Banshee. Bly, I feel like, is going to come out ahead in this game once again. Depending on micro, though, I mean, Cleans still do very well against Banshees defensively. But if Bly does decide to be aggressive with the Roaches, then the Banshees does exceptionally against defensively against Roaches.
Well, these Lings get into the base unseen. Bly actually pulls a couple back because he knows there was going to be the response. Kind of cute to see 2 of them get saved. But he kills a fair amount of SCVs for this. Holy shit, he goes up to 8 workers killed. Pardon my French.
Scheißehausen, pardon my German.
Of course, it's going to be up to Beasty to help make up for that damage. But, you know, the Spore Crawler's coming down. There's Queen's out. That was a really nice attack out of Bly. It didn't devastate. It wasn't a huge dedication. And by keeping 2 of these alive, he may drop them in later and sneak them into Baneling form.
Yep. And or he could just get a scout off and see what Beastyqt is actually going to be teching into. He's got the reactor in the starport. reactor on the factory and producing an extra 2 barracks as well.
Well, 3 queens can certainly deal with this if they could see it. Overseer's almost done. So Beasty playing a little bit cautious. Second Banshee is out on the map. Worth noting, he did swap off the starport, so he's not looking to go for Liberators this game. A little bit disappointing, because Liberators are a really cool part of the game, but they're definitely harder to justify getting early.
Yeah, I feel like with support of Hellbats, they do still do great damage aggressively if you're trying to hit that timing. Oh, but these roaches are trying to get something done. These 2 Banshees, as I said, do wonderfully defensively. And Bly knows he does need a backup, otherwise he's just going to have too many roach losses.
Alright, well, I like that he kept both the Banshees alive. They really didn't kill much, unfortunately, but they're still going to be good units to have in the mid-game. Sniping off a Baneling, sniping off roaches, whatever you can try and pick off. But for Bly's sake, the question really is, does he stay on roaches? Will he go for those mutas? And it looks like the Overlord over here did try and sneak in with those Banelings, Zerglings, whatever. Gets picked off, so nothing really comes from that.
Yep, he's going to be making it. Bly, rather, is going to be making that macro hatch. He's getting the Spore Crawlers in the mineral lines defensively against the Banshees when they cloak. And so they work out of hand, nothing pesky.
They can also be used to pick off some of these creep tumors if he wants to, which is kind of cool. Safely pick off those creep tumors, emphasis.
Yeah, and that's really nice. He is going to be transitioning rather into the melee and carapace upgrades once again, much earlier this game compared to last game though.
Alright, well, Banshee's going to cloak and head towards the main, but with the Oversteer out and Spore Crawlers down, I really don't see this doing too much. We do have a pretty nice attack though. This double drop goes unseen towards the south. And this will just force a full pull with the drones. Not even gonna be worth trying to save this. Could focus down the hatchery. Maybe the roaches are on the way back, and a lot of them are so badly injured from the Banshees. These Marines might actually be able to take on this roach force in a situation where they normally wouldn't. Stim's not done though, so I take that back. And falling back is probably gonna be the best option. Banshees in the main do distract the queens to get some drone kills too while this goes on. Evening up the kills up to 11 to 11.
Yeah, and that's really nice for Beastyqt. The supply is actually so surprisingly even in this game. If Fly actually manages to get this gold base up and saturate it, then he could be in a really good position to kind of just power forward, considering that Beastyqt hasn't opted to push out and take his 3rd base yet. Oh, excuse me, he's actually doing that right now. But, I mean, the longer that Bly tries to deny it, or maybe he does something aggressive, he could delay it even further while he tries to saturate his own 4th base. Beastyqt is doing a really good job being aggressive though, keeping Bly on the defense. Alright, double medivac drop in the main base, unloading a whole bunch of Marine, 1 Marauder, and a Widow Mine, but it does get defended. Beastyqt does steamroll out of there.
Marines though do find their way back towards the 3rd. Roaches are slightly out of position, so some more drones do get picked off. Bly is bleeding out all over the place this game. I mean, BC's not causing game any damage, but this is certainly going to get between problems, I guess, for Bly. I mean, his drone count overall is fairly low right now, and he doesn't really have the forces to react to double drops like this. A situation where mutas can be great, they're on the way, but he can't quite pick off those medevacs.
Yeah, and the mutalisks are quite late in this game, and that is due cause to the roach one, or the roach timing rather, that just completely got shut down for Beastyqt's Banshee play. And Beastyqt, he's just denying some creep spread. I always recommend denying that creep spread. Does deny the vision for those further drops that Beastyqt might want to do to continue on that multi-prong harassment. Infestation pit almost complete here for Bly, and centrifugal hooks as well. That's going to be nice when Bly does make that transition to Ling Bling meter, especially if Beastyqt pushes onto the creep, then Bly might have a chance of getting a really nice engagement, turning the game around. But as it stands, I feel like Beastyqt is in a really good position. He's making that 4th command center. He's just getting his upgrades, making his Marine, tank, Medivac, Marauder, Widowmine.
Mutalisks are going to get some annoying harassment. Can't quite respond to this. It's interesting though that Beasty is going for the air upgrades. I'm unconvinced that this is a great idea. I would definitely love to see the armor because it benefits both the medevacs, the Woodmines, and anything in the air. But if this is because he's eventually thinking about Liberators, that's really cool. If it's for Vikings, I just don't understand.
Well, we just see Bly going up to Hive now, and once he gets Hive, he could make Vipers, maybe, if he decides to stay that way, because Vipers actually do really good anti-air damage, and if all the medivacs are clumped up, then that parasitic bomb might go really nicely. Oh, Muta's coming from behind trying to pick up the medivacs, but actually gets picked off by the Marine Ball underneath.
Yeah, that's going to be problematic, because Bly didn't have that many Mutalisks in the first place, but he does win the ground war, so, I mean, there's that going for him. Mutalisk's dedicating way too much behind this, though, and, ugh. I don't know, Livy. Like, this is... Oh, sorry, wrong tab there. I mean, there wasn't a lot of Mutalisks in the first place, but that was all of his air control, and it's just gone now.
Yeah, but look at the supply for Beastyqt. He's definitely wasn't completely hindered from that engagement at all. It was a nice engagement from Bly, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, unfortunately, behind this, Beastyqt, he's taking his 4th base, he's taking the gold base, in fact.
Hang on, Livy. Beastie may have been making a mistake here. He might not remember which version of the patch he's on. He's got Liberators on the way, but he doesn't have the upgrade for them, so they're purely anti-air right now. They can't actually be used to shoot ground at all.
Yeah, that's going to be very problematic for Beastyqt, especially if he wants to use it as maybe anti-ground defense. He's going to have a bit of a rough surprise, but, I mean, if Bly does continue Muta production, then it will be great, but unfortunately, as we see, production tab, Bly is making that transition into Infesta Ultra.
Banleys are going to roll in here to the third base. Oh my god, they completely cleaned up the mineral line. Every SCV. Jesus. Well.
I mean, well, he does have 4 orbital commands, so he could start that Mule Hammer.
That's very true, but still, losing that many SCVs. Yo, Bly was behind in the worker count for so long this game. That was a big, very necessary hit for him. Now that he's been able to do some of that damage, Beastie's also just starting that Liberator upgrade. Bly's got a lot of time on his hand. There's not really a lot of pushes that come from Beastie in the near future that are going to end the game. In fact, for Bly's sake, the fact that he's moving towards Ultras before Liberators are actually ready to fight, this is more scary for Beastie, I think, than it is for Bly.
Yeah, I mean, that engagement really turned this game around, because the production now is going to be hindered for Beastyqt. Like, he cannot produce nearly as much as he would have liked to, having to rebuild SCVs for this 3rd base. And as you know, that 8 armor on those Ultralisks is just going to be so incredibly devastating once they're out on the field.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, almost in a bit of a joke, but in all 100% seriousness, guys, 2 bad, crazy things happened for Terran in Legacy of the Void. 1, Ultralisk got additional armor upgrade. 2nd, Marauder shots were split into 2 attacks instead of just 1. This means they get reduced by the armor twice. So Marauders really hit the Ultralisks for almost jack shit.
Yeah, I agree. But Liberators actually do really well against Ultralisk as long as they're within the attack circle.
Yeah, it's not that Beastie can't fight this, but it's going to be difficult to fight no matter how you look at it. There's going to be fungal growth, there's going to be the Ultralisk, and we have what is potentially Broodlords following this up. Ultralisk, by the way, seriously, 8 armor, guys. Ridiculous. Liberators do hit for a friggin' truckload, though. It's like 75 damage a shot with level 2 air upgrades. So, I mean, he was definitely thinking about the late game. I questioned whether those air upgrades would come into effect or not. And they're going to help a ton with the Ultralisks, but I don't know. Sim City is going to be always your best friend more than anything else. Lots of bunkers coming down. I like this. We got some engineering bays going down as well in front of the bunkers. It looks silly, but it's going to be effective.
Yep, and I mean, if Bly does decide to attack sooner than later, he will be hitting that timing before 3-3 is finished for Beastyqt, and that's going to be actually pretty huge considering that, well, 3-3 is just so much more cost efficient than 2-2 for Terran.
Ooh, big scan from Beastie, though. He just saw the Greater Spire with that scan towards the main. Now, Bly, you know, through everything else, ignoring tech for a moment, I just want to point out he got his creep spread up, too. This was something that took a long time to get running, but he's finally got a lot of creep spread on the map. At least 50% of the map belongs to him right now.
Oh, these Corruptors coming from behind with the Mutal support, actually cleaning up these medivacs quite quickly.
Sees the Broodlord too.
Yeah, the Marine Marauder Force just not really doing anything at all.
Libby, but here's the question. How, where, when, and why did BC just lose all of his supply? He's so far down in supply right now. I honestly don't know if he can take on this Broodlord army. Forget the Ultralisks for a second, and let's be honest, you can't forget the Ultralisks. This is going to be insane. Beasty's going for building armor, he's going for the range upgrade, but none of that might matter. The Broodlords are going to have nothing to oppose them. There's no Vikings in play. The few Liberators that try to attack them, they're going to take forever to chip away at these Broodlords.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I mean, he's now looking like he's going to get aggressive. These Liberators powerful.
It's almost like a bait. Yeah, there we go. The fungal growth does land. Infested Terran's going to come down underneath this too, trying to hold this in place, going for some kills.
Yeah, these Liberators going to get picked up pretty quickly from these firing Infested Terrans. 4 Liberators remain, 5, sorry. And the anti-ground defense really just isn't cutting it. He's got to transform them into anti-air to deal with these Broodlords, but they're going to be bungled on the ground by these Infestors.
This is a rough situation for Beasty. The supply count does get a little bit equalized after that, though, but that's the best defensive position he could hope for. There was no Vipers in play just yet. They're on the way now. The Planetary helped a ton. The bunkers were great. Meanwhile, there's an attack towards the south, but that's actually going to be pretty bad news bears. He loses the Thor. Could have picked it up. Beasty focusing on a lot of different things right now. Ravens coming out are kind of funny to see. They are... I would say Ravens have certainly lost their effectiveness over this this expansion, and with Parasitic Bomb and Abducts being as good as they are, I don't know he's going to get much use out of them.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Fly, even though he did lose a lot of supply trying to get aggressive at that gold base of Beastyqt, he did actually free up supply for more Ultralisks, so 3 more in the way, 2 more Vipers. Once he actually gets to committing to an engagement, he's just going to have such a meaty army that's just got so much, I guess, strength. Because you've got Ultralisks that are strong, you got Broodlords in the air. He might need to trade out these Roaches so that he could get more Broodlords, more Ultralisks, more Zerglings, more Banelings. But Beastyqt, he's doing a good job at trying to keep Fly defensive. He's taking out that bottom left-hand base of Fly. So, I mean, once the mineral patches run out in this gold place, probably can't really transfer his drones really anywhere unless he rebuilds that base.
You know, one of the key factors in this game, too, like, let's not forget, first off, Beasty's up 1-0 in the series. That's great. Secondly, this is a situation where mobility is Beasty's best friend. Fly's army doesn't respond to drops too easily. Then this slow push is devastating and probably unstoppable, but it is slow. So maneuvering around the map like that was great, but Beasty's kind of out of things to maneuver with. Liberators look like they want to get in there, but they know the danger of those Vipers. Parasitic Bomb completely shuts down Terran Air.
Yeah, the Liberators come in defensively into the anti-ground phase mode, but what is going to be dealing with these Broodlords?
Better question, what deals with these Ultras at the natural? Knock, knock, motherfuckers. Just break through that bunker like nothing. Marines running back here, but watch this 8 armor, guys. It just doesn't matter. These Ultralisks do not give a single fuck. One barely goes down. And the Roach fell up to might be too strong as well. Meanwhile, to the north, Vikings come in for that surprise attack. They will take out the Broodlords. Parasitic Bomb kills most of the Liberators. Fly actually loses pretty badly up to the north, but the Ultralisks remain unstoppable. What good are Vikings in the sky? They can't stop these Ultras. The Planetary Fortress in the upper right goes down. This one Ultras is still going in. He's up to 24 kills. This one Ultras is like soloed Beasty's army at home.
Yeah, that was a 25 kill Ultralisk there at the end.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, the Ultralisk at the top right hand corner completely killed that base. I mean, the Liberators in the anti-ground phase mode are actually taking out one of the Ultralisks now. Ooh, the other one taking quite a significant amount of damage.
Oh god. This is, I feel like Beasty, he's lost too much. He's down on workers. Yes, you've got mules, you go all hammer mode, sure. But look at his army. His army supplies all these Vikings. And what good are these Vikings? They can't do anything for the ground. They can kill Overlord, sure, but that's about it. They're not going to win a base trade anytime soon. Planetary Fortress is soon to go down. GG's going to get called. And Bly will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1.
Yeah, it was really well played there for Bly. Like, he was actually playing from a behind position as well from the beginning of that game. But that mid-game engagement between Bly and Beastyqt in mid-map, and then the Bailing run by behind that, turned the game around for Bly. It was brilliant.
Well, the big question, of course, more than anything else now, is who is it that's going to wrap this up with game number 3? Who's going to be the big dog and go to the winner's match to fight against Nurcho? Because Nurcho's going to be a scary guy to come up against no matter what. We already talked earlier about how BC definitely is not going to want to fight against Puck and the losers, so Got to root a little bit harder for BC on this one. We are once again just going to pop off to a small break while we get this lobby set up, guys. Don't worry.